topic we discussed after church. I texted back, thanking him and adding my thoughts about the article. He responded with more questions and insights, and before I knew it, we were having these long text conversations about all kinds of things that had nothing to do with church or our families. I started sharing more personal stuff with Nathan through text, like when I was having a particularly hard day at work or when I was feeling frustrated about something Sam had done or not done. Nathan was always so understanding and supportive, and he had this way of making me feel like my feelings were completely valid and reasonable, instead of making me feel like I was being too demanding or unrealistic. The conversations started happening daily, and I found myself looking for excuses to text him about random things just because I wanted to maintain that connection throughout the week. What really escalated things was when Nathan started sharing more about his own marriage and family situation. He never said anything directly critical about Carol, but he'd mentioned feeling like they'd grown apart over the years or that they didn't really talk about meaningful things anymore. I totally related to that because I felt the same way about Sam, except worse, because at least Nathan's wife wasn't a completely needy emotional vampire who sucked all the energy out of every interaction. I started opening up more about how lonely I felt in my marriage and how exhausting it was to be the only functional adult in the relationship, and Nathan was so validating about all of it. Nathan started calling me during his lunch breaks when he knew I'd be free at the dental office, and we'd talk for like 30 or 40 minutes about everything and nothing. His voice was so calming and mature compared to Sam's constant whining and anxiety, and I started looking forward to those calls more than anything else in my day. I began putting more effort into how I looked on Sundays because I knew I'd be seeing Nathan. I started choosing my outfits more carefully and wearing makeup that I thought he'd notice. When he complimented me on a new dress or mentioned that I looked nice, it gave me this rush of validation that I hadn't felt in forever because Sam barely noticed what I looked like anymore unless I specifically asked him about something I was wearing. The guilt